The restaurant was dim and warm, buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and the low music of people enjoying their night. Melissa sat across from me, glowing the way she always did when she was surrounded by friends and co-workers. Nights like this weren't really about me. I was mostly there to be the supportive husband, smiling at the right moments while she socialized. I never minded. For years, I'd been proud to be the quiet one beside her. But that night, something in her was different. She'd had a few drinks and was soaking up the attention, energized by the group's playful banter. When one of her co-workers joked about finding wealthier partners, Melissa laughed too loudly and said, "Well, if I ever do, at least I know my backup plan has a dependable paycheck." The table burst into laughter. All except me. Her words landed like ice water down my spine. A backup plan? That's what I was? At first, I thought maybe I misheard. Maybe she was just tipsy and talking nonsense. But then she leaned toward me, still grinning, and said, "Oh, don't start sulking. It's only a joke." Her tone, light, dismissive, condescending, cut deeper than the comment itself. Around us, her friends watched with those awkward half-smiles, curious and uncomfortable, waiting to see if I'd laugh along or break the mood. I forced a smile, the kind you make when everything inside you hurts and you can't show it. My fingers brushed my wedding ring, that small band of gold that once carried so much meaning. Suddenly it felt heavier than it ever had, like a symbol of something that no longer existed. The group kept chatting as though nothing had happened. Melissa went right back to telling stories and gesturing wildly, acting as if she hadn't just embarrassed me in front of everyone. But something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger. It was a deep, quiet disappointment, the kind that sinks in slowly and settles deep. I watched her laugh, her eyes bright, completely unaware that she had just damaged something she didn't even realize was fragile. Every word that left her mouth sounded empty. The woman I married, who used to care about kindness and respect, was now joking about replacing me. Then came the moment that finished it. One of the guys smirked and said, "Man, if she ever trades you in, at least you'll get half." More laughter. Except mine. I looked straight at Melissa. She stopped mid-laugh, recognition dawning too late. Her smile faltered as our eyes met. "Honey, don't be like that," she said softly, reaching for my hand. I pulled my hand back. My voice stayed calm. "You're right," I said. "It's just a joke." Without another word, I slid my wedding ring off. It made a faint metallic tap as I set it beside my water glass, quiet, yet unmistakably loud in the sudden stillness. The whole table went silent. Melissa's face went pale, the laughter dying instantly. "What are you doing?" she whispered, her voice shaking. I didn't respond. I stood, took my jacket, and looked at her one last time. "You wanted a joke," I said softly. Then I walked away. I walked out after saying, "Here's the punchline." No yelling, no dramatic exit, just the echo of my steps fading into the dark. Behind me, I could hear the low hum of confusion, her chair scraping as she tried to get up, her voice cracking as she called after me. I didn't look back. For the first time in years, I didn't feel obligated to stay composed for her sake. Outside, the cold night air hit hard, slicing through the dull ache spreading in my chest. I stopped on the curb and caught my reflection in the restaurant window, a man who had spent years being patient, understanding, endlessly forgiving. A man who'd laughed off every cutting remark, every joke at his expense just to avoid conflict. But something in me had finally shifted. Love doesn't vanish in fiery explosions. It erodes in tiny moments of disregard. And that night, in front of all her friends, Melissa delivered the final blow to what was left of our marriage. When I got home, the house felt even more hollow than usual. Her perfume lingered in the hallway, her shoes were lined up neatly by the door, all the familiar signs of a shared life. But staring at them, I realized I'd been clinging to something that had already withered. I sat at the kitchen table and instinctively touched the place where my wedding ring used to be. The bare skin felt strange, exposed, but also freeing. I took a long breath, let it out, and felt a small, quiet sense of peace for the first time in months. Not relief. Not joy. Just acceptance. She came home about an hour later, eyes swollen, voice shaking. "It was just a joke," she insisted, tears running down her face. "You're blowing this out of proportion." But I wasn't. I looked at her, really looked, and saw someone unfamiliar, someone who didn't grasp the weight of her own cruelty. "It's not the joke," I told her softly. "It's what it showed me. You stopped respecting me long before tonight." She pleaded, apologized, tried to make light of it again, but her usual charm fell flat. Words don't fix anything once the meaning behind them has rotted away. Weeks went by. I didn't return her calls. She showed up at my office once, waiting in the lobby with desperate eyes, but I couldn't give her what she wanted anymore. She had shattered something delicate, and trust doesn't grow back from dust. Friends told me I was being dramatic, that I should have let it go. But they weren't there at that table, feeling her laughter carve through my dignity like a blade. They didn't see the way she looked at me, like I wasn't her partner, but the punchline to her favorite joke. Months later, I heard she left the city. Someone said she was trying to work on herself. I honestly hoped she found whatever she was looking for. I wasn't angry anymore. But whenever I noticed the emptiness where my ring used to rest, I remember that night. The clinking glasses, the laughter, the moment I finally chose myself. She thought it was harmless fun. She never realized it was the moment she lost me. Because sometimes love doesn't end with some dramatic betrayal. Sometimes it ends with a single careless joke that exposes a truth you've been refusing to see.